We started about 28 years ago, and actually it started with my wife taught Sunday school at her church, and she did puppets for the kids. If they were good, she had a little puppet show for them. And I was dating her at the time, and she wanted me to help her one Sunday, and I thought, these kids aren't gonna they're not gonna behave if they watch puppet show, but they loved it. And that's kind of how I got hooked on it, and it all started from there.
We went to a church that had Children's Day when we were first married, and they used puppets like you see on Sesame Street. I was really blown away because all I'd ever really used were three-finger puppets. And so after the service, we went up and talked to the people that put on the show, and they helped us get started and gave me a puppet pattern. So I started sewing puppets, and that's really how it got started. They were doing musicals, and they helped us get started in doing musicals. They looked like they'd be really fun to do, and we started doing them, and we really enjoyed doing them. Behind stage, there's about 18 of us. Of that, I've got about 4 adults. We use a kids' musical and run with it. So we sit down and brainstorm it. So we just go to the Christian bookstore and get a kids' musical. Some are conducive to puppets and some aren't. If they're real slow moving, a lot of slow songs, a lot of long dialogue, you're not going to hold kids. We've done several musicals that do different ideas as far as how the Christmas story can be told. One was told through the animals. Others were told through the wise men. Sometimes they're told through the shepherds. This particular story that we're doing this year is told through a group of kids that are supposed to be aliens. They've come to Earth to find out what is the center of Christmas. So the title, Journey to the Center of Christmas. They want to know what it's all about. They've never heard of it before because they're from someplace else.
It's the Christmas story, and the puppets are wrought arm puppets, just like you see in the Muppet Show and Sesame Street. And there's a couple human arm puppets where your arm actually becomes the puppet's arm. And we have a couple of those in this show. And it basically tells the true meaning of Christmas. Some of the puppets we make, my wife makes, some we buy. Some of the specialty puppet things that you might see in the show we make. Not necessarily a person puppet, but a thing that talks. We'll make, but other than that, some of the puppets, we just, the better puppets we buy. Once we got into this thing, we had more money to work with, and so we ended up buying some good puppets.
For the most part, my husband and I make puppets, or we order. So any more time constraints, and as we've gotten donations and I watch for puppets to go on sale, we try to buy puppets. They're made better, but thing puppets you don't find. You know, if you want a tree or a snowflake or a bell, they're harder to find, and you end up trying to make those. The kids that have been with us the longest, the older kids, I give the solo parts to and the main parts to. New kids have to go in songs, because they got to learn how to run a puppet and how it works behind stage. They're not going to get a main part. Just as they get older and as they mature in their puppetry skills, that depends on what parts they get. We have a tape called Puppet Aerobics, and it helps teach them what to do. Plus, we just show them. We give them little tricks that you can do as far as learning how to lip sync with your hand with the radio, just different things that help. And practicing gives you arm strength.
It's just a real blessing to this time of year for Chris and I to do these puppet shows, and hopefully everyone else is blessed by it too.
Oh, just come to the show. It'll be fun, I promise. There's over 100 puppets in it, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. And you'll find out what Christmas is really all about.
What a great bunch of people. It's